Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Politically Correct Ghana lesson 102. And today's title for the discussion is a critiquing of the report titled Corruption in Ghana, People's Experiences and Views by Ghana Statistical Service, Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, and the UN, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. All right. Yesterday, 20th of July 2022, this report was released in Ghana. And as is done in academic circles, we critique, meaning that we look for the weaknesses and maybe make some suggestions for an improvement in future. So then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to critique this report, and then in the process, we'll come up with something that's good, and it will help subsequent reports and then the institutions involve themselves. All right, let's look at the title to start with: corruption. The word corruption itself means what? A dishonest act of fraudulent conduct by those in power, typically involving what? Bribery. So then it's those in power. Focus must be those in power. So typically bribery. Then you go into the word bribery or bribe. It means what? The offering, promising, accepting of an item in exchange for an act that is illegal. See, if it's exchange, there's a giver and a taker. So there's what? An active bribery person and a passive bribery person. That is what we're going to get into. And so that is one view of it. But unfortunately, when you go into the report, you find out that Shiraj, Ghana Statistical Service, and UNODC have only interviewed one side of the exchange. That is just the bribe payers. Let's take, it's a weakness. See, in this case, it's an exchange, so there must be a giver and an acceptor, or giver and a taker, or a giver and someone who receives. But there is these two. However, they've gone to interview only the giver or the perceived giver, which negates the idea of bribery and makes the word corruption in their title a bit weak. So the study itself is weak. I wish they had come out with the degree of confidence of this study in their report, and then we can pick it up from there. That is just one view, one criticism, or no, one critiquing of the report. It has some very salient points, as I've noticed, that you needed to investigate the other side, that's the receivers, the bribe receivers, those in power, to find out whether the givers are right in information they've given, or they were telling lies. But once you take only one side's view and uphold it, leaving the other side, this is not fair. Okay, let's look at it. It also goes on to say, use the word prevalence of bribery. It says that the Ghana police are on top of the prevalence of bribery. It's because the contact rate between the people and the police officers is quite frequent. However, if you look at the contact rate between the people and the medical officers and nurses, some people don't go to hospital in 10 years, 15 years, 5 years. They've not been to hospital unless they are sick before they go to hospital. So there's no contact. The contact rate is very low. In that sense, you cannot measure it accurately. So you would have to use a weighted average. The report indicated that, okay, the prevalence rate, the formula has been shown. Then it showed the formula without any weighted average formula or weighted. Then it just wrote that there is a weighted system was used. How do you do that? What formula did you use for the weighting? Let us see it and then know how it was worked out. What figures went into that report? No figures was, no raw data was shown. Okay, in that sense, they only showed aggregate data rather, but no raw data was shown, as it were. Okay, so that itself is also another weakness. And in future, they have to show that formula, the weighted average formula that they used, Ghana Statistical Service, that you use. You have to show it, and then you have to come up with a table of raw data so that we can also compute and then ascertain the veracity or ascertain the validity of your information, because such a study would have to be validated by another person and for confirmation. That's also another issue. When it says that the prevalence rate, and then it puts the Ghana police up, and the doctors and nurses as very low, who are not that corrupt, and then the police as corrupt, then I ask myself, where is the executive and where are the judiciary? They're also very low down the ladder. as not being corrupt. How many people in your study, 250,000 households in your study, have contact with the executive in Jubilee House, the president, the vice president, and all those people? How many people do? I can assure myself that for fifth of or fifth of those in the sample of the survey have never interacted with the executive to determine how corrupt they are. However, there's cash for seed saga. Almost all the big billions of dollars contract that is involved in corruption, PDS and co, points to Jubilee House. But this report has negated them. It has confirmed the executive's cliche that corruption is in public service, but not with the politicians. I'm not too sure. Because if the police say there are 50,000 police, take 555 cities, it's still nothing before a $5 billion bribe case. PDS case, it's over $5 billion before the judiciary. It's just one. The quantum is enough to take care of it. And they say the quantum, when it comes to quantum, lands commission are top when it comes to bribe. I'm not too sure. Because the judiciary is one area that we have to look at. The judiciary has the Chief Justice himself been alleged to collect a bribe of allegedly to collect a bribe of $5 million. Just one Chief Justice. We don't know what the other justices on the Supreme Court bench have been taking, because it's just one-sided information. See, when that happens, it puts the report in a skewed state. It makes it biased. We don't have to fall into that. We have to investigate both sides and come up with some middle grounds. All right. Then, of course, the report also looks at this. It points out, and it's captured clearly, each chapter has got an Akan title. The report is in English, but each chapter has an Akan title. Of the 50 languages in Ghana, why only Akan? That has to be explained. Why only Akan? Of the 6, 7, 8 chapters, all Akan titles. No, it's not right. It's not good. It's not fair. We have to find a way around it. Okay. Then, of course, you can go ahead to look at. In any case, let me just ask, how come that you are investigating yourself? You cannot investigate yourself, because Shiraj and Ghana Statistical Service are all public services and has to be investigated as to whether there's corruption. So you cannot do that. You would have to pass this job on from the UN Office of Drugs, UN Office on Drugs and Crime, needed to pass this job on to an independent body, maybe an NGO, to investigate, to carry out this survey. It's an investigation to carry out this survey, but they also have to carry out from both sides and come up with a middle ground which has a high degree of confidence report. On that note, I would say in future, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime should relook. GSS, Ghana Statistical Service, and then Shiraj, Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, are not appropriate for this kind of study, for public service. All right. Lest I forget, in the corruption in Ghana, People's Experience and Views report, and it's misleading, especially all those set of questions that was put to the persons with disability in our community. Some of them were, one of them is, do you have difficulty in walking or climbing steps? That's a leading question. It's not right for research. It is not right. Do you have a sight? It is not right. You understand me? So those are leading questions. It makes the whole report biased. So if we had a degree of confidence, it should have been captured in this report. It's just to feed in the executive cliche that the public service are corrupt and exonerating themselves. The politicians are only exonerating themselves and then putting the public service in corruption blacklisting. The name is H. Kwame Afagbo.